about women in business from A to Z. My name is Andre, and I will be moderating for today's event. But beforehand, let me give you a bit of introduction to Women Create by Kumpul. So this is a series of programs consisting of several series of master classes, a startup, SMEs development program that will be articulated as Startup Weekend Indonesia Women that is now currently being held in 9 cities across Indonesia and will be followed by a graduation day, where the selected businesses will get several intensive classes to scale up their business and also an opportunity to be part of business matchmaking session to meet with potential partners. I would like to thank the partners who have supported this program, to our supporting partners, Australia Global Alumni, and our partner program, Stellar Women. But before we start, we will have a mini giveaway for the top 3 participants. So this is very interesting for you guys, the participant. We will give a mini giveaway for 3 top participants with the most comprehensive key takeaways. It's very easy. So the first one is post on Instagram story about today's session and your key takeaways. So you're posting on Instagram story about what you learned, what have you learned about this session, and just simple, just 1 or 2 sentence, and tagging. The first one is you should follow our Instagram at KUMPULko and tagging us at KUMPULko, and also at Generation Girl and Dubes Australia. Okay. So you should posting, give 1 or 2 sentences about the key takeaways that you learned, and tagging us at KUMPULko, Generation Girl, and at Dubes Australia. And don't forget to use the hashtag. There is a hashtag, the Perempuan Berdaya, because our team is about women. So use the hashtag Perempuan Berdaya. Okay, and you can also screenshot the slide, and we will announce the top 3 winners on our Instagram account at KUMPULko. Okay, everyone. So just participate. There is a reward for you guys that very interesting for 3 people. Okay. So now today we are going to have 2 keynote sessions. The first one will be talking about how to manage the lean team, especially for new founder or entrepreneur. And the second keynote session, we will be learning how to build a business in customer-centric. And both of this session will be conducted mostly in English, but our speakers, since our speakers is also Indonesian, and so maybe there's a mix between Bahasa Indonesia and English. And you guys, feel free to shoot your question in Bahasa Indonesia also, so you can deliver directly to the speakers. And I also like to let you know that after a keynote session, there will be an interactive Q&A session where you will have the opportunity to discuss your question directly with the speakers. So if you don't mind, you can open your camera and ask the questions directly to the speaker, so we can get an interactive Q&A session. Or if you don't willing to, you just don't hesitate, just feel free to drop it on the chat box so you won't forget about it. And we'll close it at a virtual photo session. So just type it, if you don't want to speak, if you don't want to open the camera, just type it on the chat box. So without further ado, let's jump into our first keynote session with the topic of managing the lean team. And let's give it up to our first speaker of the day, Anbita Nadine Siregar, as founder of Generation Girl. Nadine, please come.
Halo semuanya.
Oke, halo. Hai Nadine.
Hai, apa kabar semuanya? Oh, ini mereka nggak bisa unmute ya? Oke, I'm gonna assume that everyone is doing well. Pertamanya sebelum aku mulai, aku cuma mau bilang terima kasih banget ke tim WomenCreate di sini yang undang aku. Sebisa mungkin nanti aku campur-campur pakai bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia ya. Jadi mungkin aku bisa kayak rangkumin kalau misalnya aku terlalu banyak pakai bahasa Inggris, nanti aku coba rangkumin pakai bahasa Indonesia setelahnya. Okay.
Yes, awesome.
Thank you. But yeah, so before I start, I really love sessions that are very interactive. Jadi kalau misalnya kalian, soalnya it gives me energy juga kan. Kalau misalnya aku kayak I don't feel like a lecturer, you know what I mean? Kalau misalnya kalian juga berpartisipasi. Jadi kalau misalnya ada sesuatu yang kalian mau tanya atau ada komen-komen sedikit-sedikit, feel free to put it in the chat box aja ya. And then I'll try to incorporate it into my presentation also.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe we can start.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nadine. But before that, maybe I will give a little bit background for you, about you for our participant. So Nadine is the founder of Generation Girl, a nonprofit organization aimed at introducing young girls to STEM or science, technology, engineering, and math fields through fun educational holiday. After graduating from Boston University with a degree in computer science, Nadine worked as a product engineer in Gojek for 3 years before being involved in Yayasan Generasi Maju Bersama. Maju Berkarya, the foundation that oversees programs such as Generation Girl and Pengajar Belajar. Okay, so welcome, Miss Nadine. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. Without further ado, Nadine, the time is yours.
Oke, sip. Hai semuanya, sekali lagi. Mungkin bisa transisi ke slide aku kalau bisa. Oke, sip. Jadi untuk topik hari ini, kita akan ngomongin tentang lean team. So, especially kalau misalnya kalian first time founder atau masih small business, pasti kalian timnya nggak besar-besar banget juga kan. Jadi ini sesinya untuk ya semoga bermanfaat untuk kalian untuk gimana caranya nge-manage lean team, tapi juga how to become a first time leader or first time founder. Soalnya itu sesuatu yang pas aku pertama-tamanya mulai Generation Girl, that was really hard for me personally to do. Dari karyawan yang punya manager, yang punya boss, terus harus transisi langsung ke leader, pemimpin di dalam tim aku sendiri gitu. Jadi aku mau kasih kalian beberapa tips and tricks juga dari pengalaman aku and what not just my experience but also my mistakes as well, which are also I think very valuable too. Next slide, please. Oke, jadi sedikit tentang aku dulu. Halo, aku Nadine dari Generation Girl. Sebenarnya I'm just a very small part of a much larger team. And like in the introduction, Generation Girl, we really try to nurture the next generation of female leaders. Gimana caranya? Lewat program-program kita. Jadi di semua program kita nggak cuman introduce STEM topics, tapi kita juga mau ngajarin mereka foundational skills-nya yang kita pikir itu penting sekali untuk semua pemimpin punya. Jadi misalnya problem solving, critical thinking, tapi juga how to be compassionate, how to communicate with people, how to collaborate with others. Itu skill-skills yang kita semuanya mau ngajarin di program Generation Girl. Jadi kita mulai Generation Girl 2,5 tahun yang lalu sih, di 2018, mid 2018. Dan dulunya kita nggak mikirin oh kita mau bikin bisnis sih, kita mau bikin yayasan, enggak juga. Ini sebenarnya cuma side project aja sama teman-teman. Dan ini aku dan teman-teman aku semuanya dulunya masih ada full time job lain gitu. Jadi kita ini benar-benar kayak cuman main-main aja sama teman. We just wanted to be productive in some way. Jadi when it first started growing, pas kita mulai lihat potensial dan growth-nya Generation Girl, I decided to quit my job and go back to school and also focus on the impact of the nonprofit. Dua-duanya Generation Girl, tapi juga pengajar belajar yang bantuin digitalizing guru-guru di Indonesia. Jadi di Generation Girl sendiri kita ada sekitar 20 orang lah di tim kita yang ngebantu kita dengan operations, marketing, partnerships, PR dan lain-lain. Dan what I have said before, dulunya jadi karyawan, terus aku jadi pemimpin. I guess this presentation is a bit about my learning experience dan apa yang aku harus belajar sebagai young leader. And semoga ini bermanfaat juga untuk kalian. Soalnya ya walaupun experience kita semuanya nggak sama ya, but it's definitely I think a lot of the learning experiences that I had will hopefully be somewhat universal for you juga. Okay. That is enough about me. Let's focus on Generation Girl now. By the way, sekali lagi kalau misalnya kalian ada pertanyaan atau komen-komen di chat box, tolong ya. Soalnya it really helps with my energy juga. Great, next slide please. Cool. Jadi ini pertanyaan sebenarnya yang aku selalu ditanya sih. Kalau misalnya aku lagi ngomong dengan young founders atau young leaders, how did we go from idea to execution? Gimana caranya pas kita punya ide Generation Girl, how did we turn that idea into something, kan? By the way, sebelum ini, aku mau emphasize juga, aku nggak punya semua jawabannya ya. I'm still trying to figure it out juga. Jadi, in no way do I have all the answers. Ini cuman semua dari pengalaman aku dan learning experience aku sendiri. Okay, just like this is take it with a grain of salt, basically. Okay, balik lagi ke materi. So, like I said, kita mulai Generation Girl as a side project kan, dan ini bener-bener bootstrapping banget dari pertama-tamanya. Bootstrapping maksudnya aku pakai uang aku sendiri, teman-teman aku juga akan membantu dengan experience mereka dan resources-nya mereka sendiri. Belum ada yang kasih kita funding sama sekali kan, belum ada yang sebenarnya yayasan kita juga belum ada, like yayasan resmi tuh belum ada, dan kita as like friends who are doing this side project, kita belum ada tim untuk ngedelegasi task dan mikirin strategi. Jadi pas kita baru mulai, how did we get things done? Next slide please. We had to get very creative, and what I mean by that is kita harus lihat semua resources yang kita punya at our disposal, and kita harus mikirin gimana caranya aku bisa take advantage untuk di resources ini supaya ini akan membantu Generation Girl, movement Generation Girl. So, program pertama kita kan pre-COVID, 2018. COVID was not even a word back then. Jadi kita kan offline, and kita harus prepare lumayan banyak sih untuk program pertama ini. Jadi misalnya kita harus cari venue, kita harus cari merchandise atau swag untuk kasih ke partisipan dan mentor. Ya kita harus cari mentor juga, harus cari volunteer. Marketingnya kan kita belum punya brand awareness yang besar gitu, jadi kita juga harus mikirin gimana cara marketing ke partisipan-partisipan ini kan. And again, kita belum ada apa-apa, yayasan resmi belum ada, funding belum ada, dan kalau kita dan kita juga belum punya uang, belum punya brand name, so we had to get really creative. Pas kita lagi fundraising, untuk tahun pertama ini, kita kebanyakannya sebenarnya tanya sponsor, bukan untuk uang, tapi untuk knowledge-nya mereka, untuk network-nya mereka, untuk skill-skills-nya mereka sendiri. So we really tried to take advantage of what we had in the beginning, which was really just, ourselves and our own expertise and our skills. We even asked one of our sponsors to sponsor our venue. Soalnya kita tahu, kalau misalnya mereka nggak punya uang untuk sponsor kita, they can still give us a venue and that will still be useful for us kan. Atau enggak kita kasih mereka untuk resources yang kalau misalnya kita punya uang, kita pasti akan bakal pakai uang itu untuk beli sesuatu kan. Jadi misalnya kita tanya salah satu sponsor kita untuk kasih laptop. Laptop yang like old laptops that they weren't using anymore. Soalnya kita juga mau bukan kasih sih, tapi pinjemin laptop ini ke partisipan-partisipan kita juga. So we really got creative, not just with what resources we have, but also what we wanted to do with it and how we could like get whatever we needed gitu. And we really use our network, we use our own skills and expertise. Jadi kurikulum pertama kita yang di Generation Girl itu sebenarnya kita nggak pakai curriculum builder sama sekali. Itu bener-bener kayak project aku dari kuliah yang aku repurpose untuk jadi kurikulum Generation Girl gitu. Atau enggak kayak salah satu engineer yang teman baik kita juga, dia sama kayak dia sebenarnya udah pernah kerjain mini project ini like for fun gitu. Ya udah dia repurpose aja untuk jadi kurikulum yang dia bisa ngajarin ke dalam program kita. Jadi ini even though I feel like a lot of young founders kalian tuh stres banget kayak aku nggak punya uang nih atau aku nggak punya venue nih atau aku nggak punya resource ini, gimana caranya aku bisa bikin sendiri. You have to like be creative and learn how to do it yourself gitu. And it does take a lot of extra work, tapi that's what bootstrapping is, right? That's how you get off the ground and that's how you build your credibility juga. Jadi untuk networking kita, we spoke to a lot of our friends yang mungkin mereka juga jadi engineer atau jadi marketing di startup lain, dan kita tanya mereka untuk connect kita ke tim HR perusahaan atau startupnya mereka untuk ngediskusi partnership. Bener-bener kayak it was so informal now that I think about it. And sebenarnya kayaknya jalurnya nggak bener juga sih. Tapi you just do whatever you can and you have to get really creative to do it. And even sekarang, walaupun kita sekarang udah lumayan lebih jadi ya, lebih matang gitu, kita masih we still do that. Jadi misalnya kita sekarang lagi hiring untuk salah satu role. Daripada kayak taruh job di mana gitu, we utilize our own community to get the resources that we need. Jadi kalau kita mau lagi cari orang untuk role, we'll actually just post it within our community and see who will want to join, because it's a little bit more personal when it happens like that juga gitu. Okay, next slide. I think that was pretty clear. Kalau misalnya kalian lagi starting out, tolong jangan terlalu stres kayak kalian nggak figure out a way and problem solve on how to get whatever you need done gitu. Okay, so once we had a team, pas kita udah punya marketing team, operations team, ini yang aku harus belajar gimana caranya jadi pemimpin gitu. This is when I had to learn how to really become a leader. And mind you, ini sesuatu yang aku masih personally struggling with. Soalnya kadang-kadang emang aku ada, kalian tahu imposter syndrome nggak? Kayak you don't feel like you're good enough for the job that you have. Imposter syndrome. That is something that I really struggle with, I think. And itu sesuatu yang aku lagi working on myself on gitu. Kayak aku nggak bisa terlalu doubting myself, and aku harus lebih confident aja in what I do and what my skills are gitu. So anyway, Sedikit curhat tadi. Once we had the team and once we grew a little bit bigger, ini I had to figure out how to create a safe environment in the workplace juga kan. And this is something that I learned really to be really important. Itu walaupun kamu jadi pemimpin, kamu tuh juga jadi member of a team. So you have to make sure that you don't feel like you're better than anyone else. Kamu tuh walaupun mungkin statusnya lebih di atas daripada orang team member lain, itu nggak berarti kamu tuh lebih baik daripada mereka gitu. And so minimizing that level of like status and that level of hierarchy, it really helped our team bond and it really helped us retain the team that we've had. Jadi sebenarnya sampai sekarang tuh semua, mungkin cuma 1 atau 2 karyawan dari 20 atau 30 itu have been with us from the beginning. And I think the reason why is because we really try to make it feel like everybody has accountability and everybody has a say and no one is better than anyone else gitu. And I want to talk a little bit about the coaching styles that you can use. Soalnya ini sesuatu, jadi kan aku baru lulus S2. This is something that I actually learned in one of my classes. I took a class on how to be a more adaptive leader, a more altruistic leader, so that bukan cuman untuk diri kamu sendiri aja, tapi supaya kamu bisa retain tim kamu dan nanti bisnis kamu akan mengembang kalau misalnya kamu jadi pemimpin yang lebih bagus gitu. Next slide, please. Oke, jadi leadership, how do you say leadership in bahasa ya? Pemimpinan, is that right?
Kepemimpinan kali ya?
Kepemimpinan, terima kasih. See, I don't know all the answers, right? Aku masih belajar sampai sekarang. Kepemimpinan itu sesuatu people skill yang kamu harus ngerti gimana caranya empathize sama orang lain, dan kamu juga harus jadi lebih adaptable juga. Maksudnya itu you have to change your leadership style based on the person that you're talking to and also based on the task that you want them to do. Contoh, itu kalau misalnya kamu emang ada deadline yang you're like it's very is very quick, like you just need to get something done, ya udah nggak apa-apa kalau kamu jadi lebih authoritative. Authoritative tuh kalau misalnya kamu ngedelegasiin sesuatu ke orang dan kamu bilang aja, oke, step 1 ini kamu gini, step 2, terus 3, 4, 5, you just like tell them exactly what to do. Tapi sebagai pemimpin itu sebenarnya lebih bagus kalau misalnya kamu ngajarin tim kamu gimana caranya memecahkan masalah sendiri. Soalnya kalau misalnya kamu harus step 1, step 2, step 3 setiap hari dan kayak 10-20 kali sehari, kamu pasti pusing sendiri kan. Dan itu sesuatu yang aku I had to learn that. Aku tuh orangnya tuh suka kayak micromanage gitu, and I'm very like, this is something that like my team also knows very well. Kayak semuanya tuh kayak aku micromanage, semuanya harus perfect gitu. And daripada aku pusing sendiri setiap kali ada sesuatu yang aku is not up to my personal standards, what I had to learn was jangan marahin mereka, my team, jangan kayak harus sabar aja dan ngajarin mereka kenapa aku mikir the way that I think, so that they know in the future, this is the way that I want them to do things, and this is why they have to solve problems like this gitu. So ini sesuatu yang aku I'm personally trying to figure out myself juga sih, gimana caranya, kapan aku bisa kasih mereka step 1, step 2, step 3, tapi kapan aku harus let go and just have them like figure out the problem themselves and just guide them to that answer gitu. Next slide, please. Oke, and you can be very creative with your coaching. Jadi dari presentasi dan keynote ini, aku mau kasih kalian beberapa tools atau tips and tricks yang kalian bisa emang pakai sekarang gitu. I don't want it to be like very theoretical. I actually want to be able to give you things that you can take out of it gitu. Jadi beberapa contoh nih, gimana caranya kamu bisa jadi coach daripada jadi more of like a coaching leader without taking too much time. So the first one is misalnya kamu bisa shadowing team members kamu, kalau misalnya kamu lagi meeting atau lagi presentasi, juga kalau misalnya kamu lagi bikin SOP atau framework, kamu ngerjain sama mereka supaya mereka tuh ngerti, this is why this framework exists and this is why I have to do something this certain way gitu. Jadi supaya mereka bisa ngerti the why of what they're doing. And I feel like this is, I'm not going to go through like all of the examples, you can read that yourself, but the overall idea of what I want you guys to take out of this is your team has to understand the why before you tell them what to do. Gitu. Next slide, please. Okay, and this is, again, something that I'm still learning how to do, but kalau misalnya kamu mau jadi pemimpin yang bagus, kamu harus mulai jadi kamu yang bagus. I don't know if I said that right in Bahasa, if that made sense. I'm going to do it in English, just so that I make sure that my point is clear. So before you be a good leader, you have to be a good version of yourself. What I mean by that is you have to be mentally strong, and you have to be mentally healthy and physically healthy before you can be a mentally and physically good leader. Because how do you expect your team to grow and be mentally and physically healthy by themselves if you are not doing it as well? Ya kan? Jadi you are the best example for your team, which is why ini sesuatu yang sebenarnya I think not that many people talk about. Itu mental health-nya beberapa founders, but I think this is really really important for you to know. And aku mau nekenin dikit aja. Kalau misalnya kamu mau jadi pemimpin yang bagus, it's not selfish to think about yourself. It's actually better for your team to make sure that you are mentally okay before you think about the mentality of your team. Next slide, please. Okay, so like I said, you are the best example for your team, right? And aku mau kasih kalian beberapa tips and advice as first-time founders, as young founders. Again, things that I learned in my own personal experience yang membantu aku, mungkin ya semoga membantu kalian juga sih, tapi kalau misalnya just I guess take the ideas of it, but ini beberapa tools atau tips and tricks yang aku mengimplementasi sendiri di my own life yang membantu aku jadi pemimpin yang lebih healthy, like a healthy adaptive leader. Next slide, please. Oke, kalian pasti nggak bisa kayak terlalu baca ya, tapi this is what my calendar usually looks like, my weekly calendar usually looks like. It looks really busy, right? And kalau misalnya bisa lihat, my weekend does not start on Friday at 5 p.m. My weekend basically does not exist. And ini sebenarnya this is actually like quite a light week. Ini soalnya cuman generation girl aja. Kalau misalnya aku tambahin pengajar belajar dan juga sekolah, pas aku kemarin sekolah, kan aku lagi sekolah plus full time work kan. Lebih crazy lagi. Tapi what I want to highlight di sini adalah lihat the big blocks of time on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Bisa lihat no meetings. I blocked time for myself to not be distracted by meetings. Why? Soalnya aku ada tugas di sekolah yang aku harus selesaiin, atau enggak aku harus selesaiin partnership deck untuk salah satu sponsor kita, atau enggak aku ada speaker session and I have to create a deck for that juga, ya kan? Ini I block time for, atau enggak kadang-kadang ini bukan gara-gara kerjaan juga, aku cuman emang mau, like I just want time for myself, you know? So I started blocking out these different time slots for myself and for my own personal events as well. And it really helped my team understand. Kalau misalnya Nadine lagi nggak kerja pas hari Jumat, soalnya hari Sabtu kita udah full banget, aku juga bisa nih, ya kan? It was like a signal for my team to slow down, to think about themselves. Jangan jadi workaholic, soalnya dulunya tuh aku workaholic dan kompetitif banget, and it really burnt me out. Like I was really burnt out. Jadi ini sesuatu yang aku bikin untuk satu, nggak burn out, tapi dua, signaling to my team they cannot burn out either. Gitu. Setting boundaries is great for yourself. Okay, next slide. Cool. So work smart, not hard. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this before, but someone told me once, one of our advisors told me once, kan aku kayak lagi curhat-curhat ke dia kan, aku kayak oh my god, I'm like so burnt out, aku kayak I'm working too hard, I'm like being a workaholic gitu-gitu, and he said the most successful person in the room is not always the one that works the hardest. And so what he was telling me then was that you can be productive and you can get everything you want done without burning yourself out. Kalau misalnya kamu kerja keras, itu nggak berarti kamu akan jadi successful. Kamu harus kerja pintar. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if you can directly translate it into bahasa. But intinya sih you can say no and you can still get the same amount of work done. And this is something that I'm really trying to normalize as well, is my own work-life balance. Aku mau, signaling to my team and to myself juga, kita nggak usah kerja dari Senin sampai Minggu pagi, itu juga nggak usah banget. Kita bisa kerja during the specific hours, give ourselves breaks, and we can still get as much done and create as much impact as we need to. Can I go to the next slide really quickly? I'll just explain that. Jadi, this is something that I actually created for my team and we use in our team. Again, aku mau kasih kalian beberapa tools atau frameworks yang akan membantu kalian kan. So, ini sesuatu yang aku bikin, aku sama salah satu co-founder aku bikin untuk tim kita. This is what we call a goal-oriented framework, and ini sesuatu yang kita bikin gara-gara tim kita tuh dulunya, and actually sekarang masih sedikit, kita nggak punya boundary sama sekali. Setiap orang yang mau partnership sama kita, while it doesn't matter what it was, kita selalu bilang iya. Kita selalu bilang yes. And there was a point in time di mana aku sama co-founder aku setiap minggu tuh at least ada 2 atau 3 speaking engagement kayak gini, atau enggak ada 2 atau 3 partnerships yang at the end of the partnership kita kayak wait, what did we get out of that? How did this help us in any way? Ya kan? And that's the kind of work yang menurut aku kita kerja keras, tapi kita nggak kerja benar, kita nggak kerja pinter, ya kan? Kenapa kita udah kerjain semua ini kalau misalnya it doesn't give us any impact, it doesn't create any impact in the future. So we created this framework to help with our goals and to make sure that everything we do is actually impactful. And kalian kalau bisa screenshot atau apa, and hopefully you can use this and this is helpful for you juga. Tapi idenya sih atau tip dari aku, menurut aku it's okay to say no sometimes. Lebih bagus kalau misalnya kamu pilih-pilih project daripada projectnya semuanya iyain tapi kamu nanti burn out gitu. So I think that was my last slide sih. If I Next slide, maybe? Yeah, I think. Yes, oke, sip. I did not miss anything. Jadi dari aku itu aja. Again, ini dari personal experience aku aja, tapi semoga ini membantu kalian di apa yang kalian mau bikin. Again, kalau misalnya kalian perlu bantuan atau kalian perlu mentorship or anything, feel free to get in contact with us at Generation Grow. We'll be happy to help you. Sekali lagi terima kasih banget ke semua partisipan di sini, tapi juga Team Women Work who invited me here, and thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kanadine, for your presentation, and what a beautiful and wonderful insights about how to lead and manage your lean team. And maybe it's more about people skills, right? It's so inspiring and insightful. And kalau aku lihat di chat box ini udah ada beberapa pertanyaan buat Kanadine, but we gonna hold it. Nanti kita bakalan tanyain di Q&A session after the second panelist. Okay. Thank you so much, Kanadine. All right, now maybe let's move on to the second keynote session with the topic of building a customer-centric business. I am inviting Fida Srina as Head of Experience Design at Indenver Group Limited. Fida?
Halo, Andre, bisa dengar jelas?
Okay. Turn on your camera.
It should be on. I thought, let me try to turn it off and on again. Gimana? Bisa? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Halo everyone, apa kabar? Selamat hari Sabtu, hari weekend, and happy International Women's Days weekend juga. Makasih nih buat Kumpul yang udah invite aku kemari. Senang banget bisa connect sama para entrepreneurs Indonesia. So probably I'll start maybe with a bit of introduction. Aku dari Aceh nih, jadi orang Indonesia dan sekarang berdomisili di Sydney, Australia as Head of Design at Endeavour Drinks Group dan juga part of Woolworths Group. Ya. Nah, topik aku hari ini, well, related to my role, probably is all about design. So, what is human-centered design? Ya. So, human-centered design. Ada yang udah pernah dengar nggak belum? What is human-centered design? Ada yang familiar nggak?
Aku.
Oh, great. Yes. Jadi kalau ditranslatekan ke bahasa Indonesia, intinya itu designing sesuatu center ke human, ke manusia, balik lagi ke user lah gitu. Nah usernya itu ya, well, since most of the time is human, ya. Yeah. So back to human. Nah, kenapa human-centered? What is human-centered design and why human-centered design is even relevant to you? Oke, jadi kalau misalnya, apalagi sebagai entrepreneur ya, nah entrepreneur itu biasanya, kalau di Indonesia, apalagi aku lihat entrepreneurship-nya itu emang udah mendarah daging ya, so it's like in our DNA. We saw opportunities, we saw the needs of something, and we go for there and we create a business of it. But sometimes, especially in this era, apalagi kalau sekarang tuh dengan tech startup membumi dan there's a lot of trend, so everyone want to create something. I'm going to create an app, and they're like, yeah, but what it's all about? What app? That's not human-centered design. It's more maybe tech-centered design or solution design. So, okay, sorry, I'm distracted with the chat sometimes. Nah, jadi if I go back to human-centered design. Okay, so human-centered design itu balik lagi ke, kalau kita mendesain sesuatu, balik lagi nanya why am I designing? What solution? What problem I'm trying to solve? So Andre, if you could go to the next slide, please, then I can talk on a bit of the, yeah, there we go. So when it comes to human-centered design, itu diawali dengan empathizing with your user. Nah, sorry? Okay. I can't hear you. Is someone talking to me? No, okay, sorry. I thought someone talking to me. Sorry nih. Jadi it start with empathizing. Ya, empathizing itu apa? Mempunyai empati dengan orang yang kita mau pecahkan permasalahannya. So the people that you want to solve the problem, usually it's your customers. So biasanya, like if you want to start a business, instead of going into the solution, I'm going to create an app for this, I'm going to create a website for this. Why are you creating this solution? So you probably wouldn't even go into, I'm going to create a business of this. I want to understand what problem I'm trying to solve in the market. So you empathize with your user. Usually kalau kita mau empathize itu biasanya caranya dengan mempunyai having conversation. Jadi misalnya pergi ke gimana ya, ngobrol dengan potential customers in the future. So then you go with them. Kalau misalnya bisnisnya itu, let's give an example. For example, your business about selling a cake, whatever. Yeah. So and you have your own proposition. So you go to people who love cakes instead of, okay, I'm going to create a website for selling cakes. Yeah, you can do that. But if you do that, probably your competitors, like millions of them. And why can't people just go to any website that already selling cakes? Yeah, so your problem space may be in the cake area. So you ask people, what are there currently that people having problem to get their cakes? As an example, mungkin yang belum tersolusikan gitu. So you have a lot of conversation. You started to map what's the problem, and then you go and to define stage. So the define stage is basically waktu kamu itu benar-benar yang okay, I think this is the problem space that I would like to solve. Yang namanya itu problem. So you apa ya? Kalau define-nya itu define is like ke titik fokus. So you're focusing on what is the problem, because rather than solving the whole things, you try to focus and prioritize into the area of problem that you want to solve. And after that, you move into a lot of testing. Jadi creating idea. Jadi banyak kayak brainstorming, or you trying different way of solving something, not one solution. Because kalau kamu, if you go to one solution, then you might not going to finish. You know, it's probably you limit yourself to other opportunities out there. So you try and you test. Nah, testing itu penting banget. Testing, how is testing? So jadi testing itu you come to your customer, you experiment, you're trying, and you maybe it's not working, and you try again. So you, instead of trying to sell your ideas to people, you actually to just put it out there and see what people come back to you. Nah, menurut observasi aku, kalau orang Indonesia kebanyakan memang bagus dalam iterasi dan ideation, even in a usual market. Jadi lebih apa ya, kayak kita gerobak misalnya. I think it's one of a really good idea because people really innovate and trying to do things that kayak katanya Nadine tadi ya, being creative dan gunakan apa aja yang kita punya dan tes dan belajar lagi, which is like that's prototype, yeah. So it's prototyping and you keep going the feedback loop. So jadi kalau misalnya aku summarize lagi, what is human-centered design? It is design based on human in the center of everything. So the whole process is to create your own business. Especially, it's really important that you take the two part of the empathize and the define. Lebih karena kamu kalau udah benar-benar berempati dengan your future user, then you will solve the right problem. Nah, kalau misalnya if you solve the problem that people need to solve, then your product will be sold rather than solving a shiny ideas. Karena if people need it, they're gonna buy for it. They're gonna get it. They're gonna spend their money on it. And if you go to the next slide, Andre, please. Okay, there's another one. There's the slide like the Venn diagram, but it's okay. So basically, the human-centered design or innovation usually achieves by three kind of like a three amalgamation of three area, which is desirability and viability and visibility. Nah, apa itu? Desirability itu adalah yang orang desire, something that people need. So that's usually what people want, basically. So you start there with the problem, you understand that, and then you can go into to the business part of things or the technology part of things. Can we build that technology-wise? Can we do that or not? And then another part of it, okay, will this actually feasible for us? Will this bring money as well or not? And terus apalagi ya? So basically you try with those desirability, and then you go into feasibility and viability. Now, on this slide, I have success metrics and measurement. So sebenarnya sih ini gampang ya. Jadi kalau kita udah coba sesuatu, and how do you know that you're successful? So sometimes we forget to set at the beginning. How do we keep going and keep doing, and some people, they build their business, they keep putting monies into it, but they don't know whether they're actually successful or not. So if you set your success metrics early, then you can track your business, and then you also can track your progress, and you can pivot if needed. If we go to the next slide, please. Okay. Experimentation and prioritization. Nah, eksperimental itu, again, I observe a lot of people already really good at it, but some people rushing toward it or even skip it entirely. Nah, yang namanya eksperimentasi, karena kadang-kadang kebanyakan juga business owner or new business founder, they try their business and they really want to go to like a perfect solution. So they close their mind to other potential ways of achieving their goals, atau apa ya? Jadi itu lupa untuk eksperimentasi. Jadi langsung udah fix banget gitu untuk solusi yang ini. Pokoknya aku mau buat app, so it has to be the app. And then you forget to try. For example, there is a lot of other ways to achieve your goal. So if you start with the problem, and then you go to the objective, what is success means, and then you can go for that. Terus prioritization, that's also a lot of things that people forget, apalagi kalau misalnya kita baru mulai bisnis ya, suka mau, I want to do everything. So let's say you want to create a website, you want your website to be able to do everything, but then I don't know, pernah dengar ini nggak term yang if you do everything, you don't do anything, you ended up doing nothing. Nah, you try everything, you don't prioritize, and then you ended up not taking the right objective. Okay, and can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so satu lagi yang orang sering lupa juga itu ada backstage. So when you have a service, there's a front stage yang customer bisa lihat. There's a backstage, which is your system biasanya, atau what your customer, what your employees doing to serve the customer. So kayak Nadine bilang tadi, when you want to be a leader, you want to take care of your team. Because you're at the end of the day, if your staff or your team happy, then they will do a better job and they will serve a customer. And this is especially most importantly untuk bisnis yang ada customer service. Misalnya kamu punya call center agent di bisnisnya, atau maybe your business have a, let's say, a salesperson. Nah, if you don't think about how easy they do their job, then they can't. Kadang-kadang ada bisnis, gimana ya bilangnya ya, ada bisnis yang suka, oh it's okay, they can, my team, they can do whatever. I want to focus my attention to my customer. But if your employees are not happy, then it will be really difficult to get your customers happy. I can give an example from a retail. Nah, kalau because I'm in the retail business, misalnya kalau di brick and mortar store ya, kalau kita punya ada toko gitu. Nah, katakanlah tokonya punya cabang ya, ada berapa cabang gitu. Nah, ada sistem misalnya yang di customer, yang tim kamu, timnya suka akses. But let's say the customer buying something and then they want to return their goods because they don't have the right size, for example, and they call your customer center, and then probably your customer agent has so many system that they have to look into. Jadi mereka tuh harus yang akses komputer satu, terus juga harus lihat Excel sheet yang banyak, terus apa lagi ya. So basically their life is miserable just to solve this problem. So yes, potentially they can still do the job, but if you remove this from your backstage, from your staff, then they actually can prioritize their time to serve customers better. Jadi kalau misalnya di istilah kita ya, kalau itu namanya service blueprint. Jadi kalau kita ada sebuah service, kita mapping customer experience dan juga employee experience gitu. Should we go to the next slide, or is that finished? I think it's finished, yeah. No.
Finished.
Okay, it's finished. So my talk is really short, so I actually happy to take questions as well. If there's a couple of questions that we have here to see how can you actually implement as well customer-centered design into your business as well.
Maybe, Mbak Fida, I'm a little bit curious about the metrics, the success metrics that you've mentioned before. Mungkin kan di sini ada teman-teman yang again mungkin baru memulai bisnis as a beginners. Itu mungkin dari pengalaman Mbak Fida, gimana memakai success metrics tadi buat teman-teman yang mungkin baru memulai bisnis mereka gitu dari pengalamannya Mbak Fida.
Oke, success metrics bahasanya aja kali ya yang jargon, sebenarnya intinya itu cuma oke, kalau mau tahu kita sukses apa sih? Success indicator basically. Nah, jadi kalau kita ambil contoh when I started a business, I need to make sure how do I know what is my criteria or my checkpoint when I know that we are going on the right track. As an example, it could also be the numbers of customers that signing up with us, depend of the business ya, tergantung bisnisnya apa. Kalau bisnis kamu misalnya platform that using membership for people, for example, nah the number of customer that register maybe is one success metric. So let's say what is your target? Kita mau punya 1,000 customer dulu deh misalnya ya. So that's one example. Terus another success metric is engage or return customer. Bisa aja kan banyak orang yang sign in for something, but then they delete the app or they don't use it anymore. So having the number of customers that sign in, for example, not necessarily mean that you're successful. You might reach them, but if they don't use your service or your platform or your product, or misalnya dia, okay, if you say, let's say you have an e-com platform atau online shopping ya, misal ada customer join, buying, but then will they come back to you? Nah, so if they come back again, like how many return customer, those are the second metrics, for example, that you want to get. Terus apalagi ya, misalnya, so repeat purchase, users, numbers of user, mungkin kamu juga mau sales, usually is number one as well. Berapa mau sales sampai berapa gitu. And another thing is maybe size of basket. Bisa jadi size of basket means like satu customer dia belinya berapa banyak sih gitu. Apa ini adalah bisnis yang customer cuma beli dikit-dikit doang, atau so maybe if you start to increase the size of basket per customers, that could also be your success metric. So kadang-kadang why it's important to highlight success metric, karena kan kadang-kadang kita buat bisnis terus jalan aja gitu ya. Oh good, we get customer. Terus lupa, ini sebenarnya okay, maybe balik modal, okay, we got the money back, we udah nutup nih modalnya, jadi yang sekarang sisanya cuma revenue doang, for example. But then have we actually mapped back into our costs and the employees and the time that, you know, all of these other things and that involved in the business. So that's why it's important to set your success metrics early enough, even when you still have the idea phase, you know. So let's say when you kayak kata apa Nadine tadi, from idea to actually launching to become a successful business, you start with maybe semuanya itu bootstrapping ya, but even more so then you you capture what is your success metrics, how do you know that you actually successful. Apalagi kalau misalnya kita kadang-kadang masih kerja ya, as a founder, sometimes you work, you don't pay yourself a salary as well, so make sure that you count the time that you put into the business too. So even though it's okay for you, it's your baby, you still want to work on it, but it's important to calculate that, so when you go bigger, you know how much money actually you're, well, even though it says money, but time is also money, effort, and everything else that's included as well. Is that answering your question, Andre?
Absolutely, Ms. Fida. It's very interesting. Maybe one last question before we officially moving to the Q&A session.
Yep.
Ms. Fida, should be along the way you face challenges, right, to build a customer-centric. If I may know what kind of challenges from your experience you face, and how to tackle those challenges to achieving a truly customer-centric business.
Okay, so it's very simple, but it's hard to implement. When I say it's hard, because the key is for you to be conscious on it. So I think I'm a little bit echo. I don't know why. Sorry, guys.
Okay,
it's okay. It's back.
Can I repeat it?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Jadi pertanyaannya tadi, what's the challenge and how to solve and how to make sure you can keep being customer-centric business. Sebenarnya sih gampang ya, but what's difficult is to create that as a habit and to keep the customer in the center of your mind and everything. Jadi it's more about like avoiding the tendency to jump into solutions straight away, always asking yourself a question of why. So let's say you built, let's say you already started a business, and then you want to add another service to your business, or if it's an app or a website, for example, you want to add another feature to it, as an example. But why are you doing a solution, what you're proposing? And then also to keep talking to your customers. So the key to be customer-centric business is actually how often you actually talk to customers. I'm not talking about just survey. You can send survey. Kalau kirim survey sih bisa ya, but survey doesn't tell you much intinya. Kalau lihat data bisa juga, but at the end of the day, numbers is just numbers ya. And the most important things lies the qualitative research or information that you have. Nah, jadi kalau misalnya the key is to keep talking to your customer. Even big business, they forget sometimes to be customer-centric. Semakin besar mereka, misalnya kayak Woolworths Group, besar banget ya, kayak supermarket gitu. Nah, but sometimes we do a solution, for example, sometimes we forget, but that's why you have design team sometimes that always have their mission, harus selalu ngobrol dengan customer. So just to find out what is actually customer problem, and we want to make sure any solution that we are providing in our business is actually solving customer problem, not just a fancy idea. Nah, yang paling sering challenge for a lot of business, I think people want to build fancy things. Oh, this is cool things. But yes, cool is good. Maybe you get quick hype, this is the new trend, but then how long the customer will actually use it? If it doesn't solve the problem, then it's not going to last usually.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Fida. What an interesting replies. It's really interesting topic about human-centric design and customer-centric. Maybe we are move on to our Q&A session, but okay. But before that, I would like to ask you, everyone, for your feedback, so we can provide a better learning experience for you to grow your business. So, please scan this barcode that showed up at your screen right now, and give us some feedbacks, so we can help you guys to learning and to grow your business even better, right? Maybe I'll give you 2 minutes to scan this barcode. Oke, jadi atau kalau memang ada beberapa teman-teman yang nggak bisa scan, mungkin bisa ketik linknya aja langsung ke linknya dan bisa langsung isi feedbacknya. Oke. Mungkin sudah teman-teman. Let's moving to the Q&A session. Okay, I see there has been some question from the audience. And the first one is from Mbak Tuti. Okay. I would like to invite Mbak Tuti to unmute yourself and open your video and ask the question directly if you want. Okay. Mbak Tuti, halo. Oke, mungkin
dia tuh ngomong apa yang membuatku berbeda. Jadi apa yang nggak bisa di copy. Ya Pak, ya
sebelumnya. Halo.
Kerasin suaranya Mbak Tuti.
Iya Kak. Selamat siang. Yang perkenalkan saya Dwi dari Startup Education. Oh ya, sebelumnya saya terima kasih atas materi yang dibawakan Kak Nadine sama Kak Fida, keren banget, sudah membantu dari insight saya yang diberikan. Nah, di sini saya mau menanyakan terkait manajemen tim. Nah, yang saya tanyakan itu bagaimana cara memanage atau membuat tim itu biar dia tergerak dengan sendirinya, apakah dengan tergerak sendirinya itu dengan based on system, misal menggunakan ARK atau menggunakan KPI kan. Jadi secara tidak langsung itu kita sebagai istilahnya kayak kepalanya gitu ya misalnya, itu tidak memberikan suapan terus-menerus gitu. Jadi secara tidak langsung mereka tergerak dengan sendirinya atas goal yang sudah kita set di awal kayak gitu. Seperti itu. Jadi kan biasanya tim ada yang aku nggak gerak nih soalnya belum ada perintah atau apapun. Nah, gimana caranya biar mereka tergerak sendiri? Mana sih?
Mungkin aku bisa ulang pertanyaannya karena tadi agak berisik, mungkin kurang kedengeran. Terima kasih sebelumnya Mbak Tuti sudah bertanya. Jadi mungkin pertanyaan dari Mbak Tuti adalah bagaimana kita secara individu itu bergerak. Jadi menggerakkan orang-orang di tim kita itu nggak cuma, mungkin tadi Kak Nadine sempat mention micromanage ya. Jadi biar kita menggerakkan tim kita itu nggak harus menggunakan sistem itu terus-menerus, apakah menggunakan sistem seperti OKR misalnya, seperti itu. Mungkin Mbak Nadine.
Oke. Terima kasih pertanyaannya. Jadi untuk aku sih, that's the learning the leadership style that I was talking about kan. Itu salah satu style kepemimpinan yang aku pakai supaya tim aku tahu gimana caranya memecahkan masalah kalau misalnya aku juga nggak ada gitu. Sebagai leader, menurut aku the best tool you can give your team is like how to make yourself as a leader obsolete. Ya kan, kalau misalnya mereka nggak perlu kamu lagi, itu berarti kamu you're a good leader, right? Jadi gimana caranya kita nggak micromanage terus-menerus adalah untuk ngajarin mereka skills dan tools itu supaya mereka bisa memecahkan masalah sendiri. Nah, makanya kita ada SOP dan OKR, kita juga ada sih, tapi itu lebih high level aja sebagai organisasi. Jadi ini lebih ke framework-nya dan gimana caranya aku berinteraksi sama mereka on a daily basis gitu. Misalnya, kalau misalnya mereka tanya aku sesuatu kayak Kak, ini aku nggak ngerti gimana cara aku like how do I approach this partnership misalnya gitu. Nanti aku daripada jawabin mereka, aku tanya mereka balik, menurut kamu gimana? Kan kita udah pernah ada partnership seperti ini kan, yang gini dulunya. How did we approach that one? Terus mereka harus meng-apply apa yang mereka udah belajar dari experience mereka sendiri ke masalah yang ini gitu. Jadi aku nggak akan kasih mereka jawabannya, tapi aku cuman arahin mereka ke jawabannya sendiri gitu. Dan ini jujur aja ya, aku kadang-kadang harus sabar sekali sama mereka, soalnya it's not a 0 to 100 proses kan. Ini kayak step by step langkahnya tuh lumayan pelan. Tapi menurut aku ini lebih sustainable sebagai organisasi supaya misalnya partnership kedua, ketiga, keempat mereka masih tanyain aku kan. Tapi kalau misalnya aku setiap kali mereka tanya the same question, aku nggak kasih mereka jawabannya, tapi aku arahin mereka aja, pasti partnership ke-5, ke-6, mereka udah engah, dan mereka udah bisa ngerti sendiri, gitu. Dan walaupun aku repotnya tuh partnership yang pertama itu, in the future, I'm investing in their knowledge, and I'm investing in my own, my team's growth, so that kalau misalnya aku di partnership ke-6, sebenarnya mereka udah bisa delegasiin ke orang lain dan mereka udah tahu caranya sendiri gitu. Semoga itu jawab pertanyaannya.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Nadine. Maybe Miss Vida, what do you think about it? Mungkin apakah it goes the same dalam bisnis gitu, customer centric business?
Okay, yeah, I can add to that as well. Makasih to take then to support, also to add to Nadine's point. As the leader of a team myself, and in my team, all the team members are designers. Yeah. Nah, jadi again, come back into more being there if they need you, rather than keep telling them what to do. Soalnya, and another thing yang penting di highlight juga ke team member, it's okay to fail, because that's the only way for you to learn. So in fact, there's no failing, it's only learning. So you never get it right the first hand, and it's all right. And nanti kalau misalnya mereka salah ya, not doing it correctly or not quite right, and you ask them, okay, what do you learn? How would you do it differently next time? Jadi reflective time is really important as well. Jadi so you give the team a more kind of like a guardrail, rather than because sometimes you can swing the pendulum way too high as well. That was my own learning. Jadi kalau aku I can't micromanage, because I hate being micromanaged myself, so I can't micromanage. So when I first started as a leader of a team, aku malah sebaliknya, okay, you all can do it, you tell me. But that's also not right, because then you ended up having no management at all, because some people, they want to be micromanaged, they need structure. Some people, they love it, no micromanaging. So it's not about which one is better than another. It's more like people have different way of doing things. Nah, buat di tim kita juga ada tim yang mungkin memang butuh tell me exactly what to do. But another one is like, okay, don't tell me anything, I'm just going to do it my own. So I think, how do you get the lever ya? Jadi lebih ke balance-nya tuh apa gitu. So if you tell them the OKR, I found works really well for my team as well. So all my team members, we have OKR kalau untuk yang organisasi juga dan tim lebih ke squad mereka atau tim besar, but we also have I tweak it a bit more into goals for each individual. Jadi setiap team member itu punya goals-nya sendiri, and then how do you know that what is our success? How do you know that's successful? Again, anything that you can measure, you can move forward and you can improve. If you can't measure, you don't know. If you learn, you get it right, you don't get it right. So measurement is really important. So balik ke pertanyaan Dwi tadi, be there for your team. Soundboard, mereka nanti kalau misalnya datang ke kamu, I do it right, what do you think? Oh, okay. What do you think? Nanya balik sering kayak Nadine, what do you think? Is there anything else that we could add? Dan kalau misalnya kamu ngerasa kayaknya ada yang kurang, change it to questions rather than bilang, I would rather do this like this. Because if you say that, then you limit as well. Who knows that your team actually maybe have a different or even better way of doing it than you. Jadi lebih baik nanya, oh, what about this? You know, or have you thought of this part? So it's also how do you question someone? So question always work better for me when it comes to feedback. So I hope that helped to it.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Vida. I hope it answered your question, Dwi. Thank you for the question. Okay, maybe the second question, it's about gimana kalau kerja sendiri, kerja membangun startup or business. I can say this both startup and business with your friend, with your own friend, or rather hire someone else. Maybe I can start from Miss Vida. How you consideration to build your business with your friend or rather you hire others?
It's up to you. It's very depend for everyone. So if you have like a really good friend that you guys really on the same page, and then I think that's brilliant. Or if you don't have that kind of relationship, for example, or mungkin takut ya nanti, aduh nanti kalau campur-campur nih bisnis sama teman, bisa-bisa temenan jadi nggak bener lagi, bisa-bisa nanti jadi berantem karena uang, bencana begini begitu. So that's if you think that you don't want to jeopardize your friendship, or you think it might jeopardize your friendship in the future, then if you want to hire someone else, that's okay too. I think there's no right or wrong answer. It just depend on the person. I had my previous business that we tried actually with friends, and Hanum was one of our team members as well, and it works well for us. So we, I think, of course, there will be like, things that you need to work out with your business partner, or if it's your friend. My business partner at the time was my flatmate. Actually, we lived together, so you could imagine we went to university together, we lived together, and we started to do business together. So there's also, of course, different way of doing things, misunderstanding between the two, but it's only strengthened our relationship for now. So that works for me, but it's depend.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Vida. Maybe I forgot to mention, this is from Mbak Berliana ya, yang bertanya tadi. How about you, Nadine? When you build your own startup, is it better with your own friends or hire someone else? What's the difference?
Terima kasih pertanyaannya. Aku agree banget sih sama Vida. Ini nggak tergantung temen atau nggak temen, tapi lebih kita sesama align visi misinya nggak. Soalnya even kalau misalnya kita hiring sekarang, kita lebih lihat proactiveness-nya mereka, dan kalau misalnya mereka emang really care about our vision mission, daripada ini aku teman aku, ya udah I'll like just let them in gitu. Soalnya kalau misalnya kita lagi building team, menurut aku kalau misalnya emang semuanya udah align banget sama goals-nya dan sama apa yang kita mau kerjain, the dynamic is just a little bit more stuck aja sih gitu. Tapi kalau salah satu advice, soalnya emang dari pertamanya kan aku mulai Generation Girl sama teman-teman kan. Jadi mungkin kalau aku bisa tambahin satu advice aja, seperti supaya untuk mental health kamu bagus, so you should block time out. What my friends and I did also was block time out for our friendship juga. Jadi kadang-kadang kalau misalnya kita lagi, going out to a movie or going out to dinner, the rule is, if I'm working with someone, obviously, the rule is kita nggak boleh ngomong tentang kerjaan gitu. So you manage those boundaries of, dari bukan jam juga sih, tapi maksudnya kayak you have your work professional relationship, but you also have that friendship that you also nurture gitu. Soalnya dua-duanya kan important juga kan, penting sekali gitu. Jadi kalau misalnya kita set boundary-nya, it really just helps to make sure that those feelings don't get in the way, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Nadine buat jawabannya. Maybe Aku langsung ada pertanyaan juga nih langsung buat Kanadin juga. How your transition yourself from working from Gojek as a decacorn to building your own business?
Oh, it wasn't really a transition, more so like an accident. Jadi sebenarnya yang aku ceritain tadi, Generation Girl itu kita nggak mikirin kayak, oh kita mau mulai ini sebagai organisasi atau sebagai movement or yayasan gitu. Ini bener-bener kayak I just wanted to do something fun and productive with my friends gitu. And kayak bukan accident sih, it was very lucky that what we made had a lot of potential that people believed in us gitu. Jadi pas aku pertama, the first 6 months I think of Generation Girl, aku masih full time di Gojek gitu. Before I decided that it was like just too much for me to do 2 full-time jobs, and then I decided to transition. Tapi ya aku transisinya gara-gara aku S2 juga sih. Jadi dari Januari 2021 tuh pertama kali aku emang kayak full time banget di Generation Girl. So the transition really was just like a personal decision that I made for myself aja. Soalnya aku burning out, aku very overwhelmed with the amount of work that I had, and I decided I had like aku ngomong sama orang tua aku, sama kakak aku, sama teman-teman aku, dan mereka kasih aku beberapa advice juga kan. And mereka semuanya bilang ya kalau misalnya kamu emang feeling burnt out, you have to choose one or the other gitu. Tapi I'm not comfortable giving people advice on whether or not they should quit their job to do their whatever their side project is full time. Soalnya ini a very personal decision that I made for myself. And mungkin beberapa factors yang ngaruh di decision aku itu, do I feel comfortable leaving the comfort of a steady job? Itu satu. Kalau misalnya aku like if I didn't feel comfortable that I could sustain myself financially, I don't know if I would have been able to do this. Itu satu. Dua, salah satu factor itu, do I believe in this cause enough that I see myself doing it for the next 5 to 10 years. Kalau misalnya emang aku cuman kayak, oh ya udah ini side project aja selalu, like menurut aku it's like for me it wasn't worth it gitu. So those were really the 2 factors that I looked at. Do I believe in myself and this vision enough to see it through for the next, however many years, and can I feel like I can financially sustain myself gitu. Semoga membantu.
Okay, thank you, Mbak Nadine. How about you, Mbak Fida? The difference between your working in a company and then for a group limited, Woolworths Group, and then with your own business as a co-founder at KUMPUL.
Yep, I can add to that. It was one of my biggest learning because KUMPUL now for me and the team, we decided as a project. So as you could see, we stopped because of the learning that Nadine highlighted really good point. Actually, will this be sustainable for me? Because at the time when I started KUMPUL with my business partner, I was still on sponsorship visa. Jadi aku tuh di Australia masih kerja sama perusahaan lain, dan sponsorship technically you cannot earn from other incomes. Jadi I can't even make money from it basically. So we were just like bootstrapping to fund our own project. Jadi just a bit of a context, projectku KUMPUL itu basically we took students, like Australian students, to go to Banda Aceh, to Indonesia, to work with the local entrepreneurs to start business ideas using design thinking, which is we do a lot of workshop and talk with the customers, and then find out the problem that we're solving and we're setting up a business basically. So it's kind of like you use exchange program in a way, but kalau aku ya waktu itu emang benar-benar yang, so I work full time, I only can work for KUMPUL in the weekends or at night, and plus karena KUMPUL itu di Banda Aceh ya, so we actually have to work like collaboratively with the university in Indonesia dengan Universitas Banda Aceh, and our client was university in Australia. So it was really hard for us. So it's just like, because it's human capital. So that's another thing that you need to learn. So if you are not there, then technically you can't really run your business effectively. So I asked myself question, then like, is this what you want to do? And that's when I also learned about, to Nadine's point before, she's highlighting about not to be burned out, and then also to be mentally stable for yourself as well, to be able to be a good leader or to move forward. So what I learned basically, that I would tell to any business owner, I think in the future, make sure that you're actually financially sustainable, because financial stress is the worst. Karena kalau kamu punya financial stress, you can't allocate your mind and your effort into your business. Jadi aku tuh sampai apa ya, buat ini. So if you want to feed, especially my business is social enterprise. So the whole drive is to support others and stuff like that. So what I learned is, if you want to feed people bread, you need to be full. Otherwise, you ended up stealing the bread. So basically for me at the time, I can't be full, because once I'm working full time and then I have this, and I was a mess basically. So that's when I realized, actually, what is the most important for me? It's not so much about creating my own business, it's about what is my value. So my value is to support others, and that's where I found different avenues. So like right now, I'm not working in my own business anymore. Working full-time works perfectly for me, but I like to do side gigs, you would say, things like this, like doing talks or teaching at university part-times. And so that's how I feel I could allocate the objective that I wanted to do from my business before. I hope that that answer your question. So it's really personal again. So some people could do both, some people can't. I can't do both, so here I am.
Okay, the next question may be from Hannah from Diponegoro University. She's asked how to overcome the lack of confidence in delegating the jobs to the team, because the feeling that we are not good enough to be a leader. We can start from you, Ms. Vida, how to tackle this problem about confidence.
Yeah, so imposter syndrome, I think, happened to most people. Even the top leader, they're still having like, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? For me, the easiest answer, no one is good enough anyway. So perfect is for whatever you believe in, God, universe, magical, that's perfection. So I don't believe in 100%. I only believe in 99%, because that 1% can be a game changer sometimes. So if you think, even if you think I only have 1% of needs that the 99% require, that's also really good, because you have the one, then you can just chase another one. So for me to overcome the confidence, just things that, one, there's no perfect. So no matter how hard you try, there's no perfect. There's only good enough that is good. So that is the most important thing. And also, again, everyone's standard is very different. You might think that this is not good, but other people think maybe it's good, or vice versa. You might think this is great, but then there's other people that will think, oh, it's actually okay. So at the end of the day, you set your own standard, and it is better to have a better than yesterday than to chase for perfection, and then you don't get it at all. So always ask yourself a question: what is better than yesterday? What is better than an hour ago that I do? Do I take even just one bar better? Then that's a good starting point. And then you keep pushing yourself. So, and to circle back to that question, and how can you delegate? Because I think at the end of the day, about ability to delegate is actually more about you trusting the team than you trusting yourself as a leader. Because if you started to think that, oh, my team won't do it as good as I am, then you probably need to ask yourself question that, have I actually tried to be a leader that trusting my team? So I get this person, and they must be capable enough, and if they're not, what can I do to support them to be better? So yeah, so trust your team, give that chance to your team, give that chance to yourself, give everyone a chance basically to be one bar higher than yesterday. So that's my tips. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Vida. How about you, Ms. Nadine? Can you add some more about this lack of confidence from your experience?
Yeah, like I mentioned in my keynote, ini sesuatu yang emang I still struggle with to this day. And I don't know, like Vida said, like I don't think I will ever stop feeling like I'm good enough for me to be able to lead this team and this community. Tapi gimana caranya tuh yang aku bilang itu coaching style. Jadi just be very transparent and communicative. Aku setiap hari at least 2 atau 3 kali kalau misalnya aku ditanya pertanyaan sama my team, kadang-kadang aku juga nggak tahu, and I don't think that, like I said in my talk as well, I feel like aku juga nggak tahu jawabannya, and I'm very transparent about the fact that I also don't know all the answers kan. Dan mereka tuh juga nggak usah tahu semua jawabannya juga. Jadi we're gonna learn together, we're gonna grow together, and kalau misalnya aku nggak tahu sesuatu ya udah we work on it together juga gitu. But I think being that kind of leader that has a lot of open communication, kalau misalnya mereka make mistakes atau kalau aku juga make mistakes, which happens a lot also, we're all very understanding and very communicative on how we can grow and learn together. Dan ini aku nggak tahu kalau misalnya ini dari leadership, tapi ini lebih ke like how you manage your team, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's leadership sih. But it's like the aura or the core value of your team aja harus emang ada that open communication. Kalau misalnya mereka juga takut untuk kabarin kamu that they made a mistake, you're never gonna know and you're not gonna be able to grow from it juga kan. Jadi menurut aku sih nomor 1 is open communication when they make mistakes, but also when you make mistakes, terus you make it a point to learn together. Kalau misalnya mereka tahu kamu juga akan membantu mereka to be a better person and to be a better team member, menurut aku it makes all the difference. So yeah, I think in one word of like my whole rant just now, communication, I think is very key.
The key is communication. Okay, thank you, Ms. Nadine. I think we are gonna one last question, because of the time limit, and this is from Pony Kolega Rasa. So the question is, how do we manage or respond if the family disagree, if we are an entrepreneur, because the family is very monotonous as workers in someone's company. So this is related to family matters. So what our family think if we are as an entrepreneur. Maybe start from you, Ms. Nadine.
Again, ini personal banget ya. Jadi kemungkinan experience aku nggak akan sesuai sama experience semuanya yang di sini juga. Tapi to speak about my own experience, I also felt this as well, right? Ada banyak banget keluarga aku dan teman-teman aku yang bilang ke aku juga kayak, kenapa sih? Why are you leaving your steady job and risking it all? Ya kan, to build your own business gitu. Itu salah satu factor yang aku udah ceritain that definitely was on my mind as well kan. How can I overcome these challenges that are very valid challenges that keluarga aku juga are concerned about, you know. Tapi what I did was aku udah tahu diri aku sendiri dan aku tahu I know what I believe in and I know what I personally want to achieve in my life. And yes, societal pressures are always going to be there. Pasti banyak banget keluarga kita yang in whatever step of life, they will never be happy. And what we can do is just iya-iyain mereka, tapi kalau kita udah tahu diri kita sendiri, I think just go with that aja. And ini sesuatu yang susah banget ya, especially kalau misalnya keluarga kita kayak keluarga orang Indonesia kan yang it's very familial based, right? Very Asian culture. But menurut aku sih that's something that just helped me aja, being confident in myself and being confident in what my path in life is going to be, itu membantu aku. Ya, tapi nggak tahu kalau misalnya Vida, I don't know if you have a bit different experience.
Yes.
A bit of different, but kayak I could relate so much to your point. Like, okay. So, say, at the end of the day, they're your family, So maybe being entrepreneur versus working for other people is one example in this stage of your life. But when you were a kid, probably it was a different example. I want to go to art school versus you should go being a doctor and stuff. There's always things that your family want you to pursue, but the intention all is good because they want what is best for you from their point of view, from their previous experience. So I think still acknowledging that, because at the end of the day, family is there for you even when you fail. Let's say, because being an entrepreneur is not easy. Sometimes you will fail. So there you will be your rock. So maintaining that relationship with your family is really important, and how you manage that, come back to that communication. And sometimes what I did before, as an example, for me, it's not so much about being an entrepreneur. It's about being, why are you doing all of these things rather than just work? Kenapa nggak jadi dosen aja sih? So my parents used to tell me that, oh well, jadi dosen oke sih, Mom, tapi aku kayaknya mau coba yang ini dulu. Or you can always say, this is just an example, right? Yeah, I can always come back. I mean, especially if you work in a good company. I worked with this company before. I'm going to try this. I can always come back if I fail, but this is what made me happy. At the end of the day, they care about your happiness. And sometimes you can also ask them, trust me on this, or can I have your support? Your support means a lot for me. And if I don't pursue this, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be stressful. A bit of emotional blackmailing, of course, is not fair, but again, it's your relationship with your family, ya. Karena kan tiap keluarga juga beda-beda ya style sama komunikasinya. I'm pretty lucky, my parents very supportive with whatever direction that I'm taking. So they're like, okay, she's just like that. She's just going to do what she's going to do. It doesn't matter. We say that, she's still going to do it anyway. But yeah, still respecting them, because they will be there for you for sure in the hard time or the good times. So yeah, I think it's your self communication, and I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Ms. Vida and Ms. Nadine, for the answer. I think that would be the last question and discussion because of the time limit. We thank you all so much who been asking. And then there are still some questions that we couldn't answer. I'm so sorry for you guys that been asking, karena sekali lagi karena keterbatasan waktu, jadi ada beberapa pertanyaan yang belum sempat kita jawab ya, kita bahas bersama, tapi mungkin bisa dilanjutin teman-teman, mungkin bisa ada pertanyaan buat speakers kita, bisa connect ke LinkedIn mereka mungkin ya, ke LinkedIn masing-masing, ke LinkedIn Mbak Nadine dan juga Mbak Vida juga bisa tanya mereka apapun yang mungkin teman-teman nggak sempat tanya di sini. Okay, thank you so much, and maybe we are reaching the end of our session, but before that, so thank you so much for Ms. Nadine, Ms. Vida. We thank you all so much. What a wonderful and insightful from both of you guys. We hope the best, very of luck for your career and journey ahead, for your impact to the society as a women leader on your own, or Ms. Nadine for the Generation Girl, and Ms. Vida for the Kupi culture in Banda Aceh. We hope that it will grow and give more impact to the society. Thank you. But before that, I think I'm gonna asking you guys, all of you, to open the camera because we're gonna take a picture together before we end this session. Boleh mungkin semuanya teman-teman kita open kamera biar kita bisa foto bareng. Kaifa, can you help me to take a picture? Ya? Boleh teman-teman di open kameranya semuanya buat kita bisa take a picture. Mungkin bisa minta bantuan Eva ya atau Zetira.
Ya, oke. Aku bantu juga ya. Coba.
Oke.
Satu, dua, tiga. Cheers. Thank you.
Once more maybe, Mbak Hanum.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. That it's a wrap. Thank you so much once again to Ms. Nadine and Ms. Vida for your insightful presentation and sharing to us today. And thank you so much for all of you guys. Terima kasih semuanya sudah tuning in until the end of our session. Kita berharapnya teman-teman bisa mendapatkan banyak banget pelajaran dari session kita hari ini. Dan jangan lupa juga bisa posting di Instagram tadi yang mini giveaway yang aku udah jelasin di awal. Teman-teman bisa posting di Instagram 1-2 kalimat apa yang teman-teman pelajarin dari speakers kita hari ini, dan bisa tag di Instagram kita Kumpulko, Dubes Australia, dan Generation Girl, karena bakalan ada hadiah menarik, ada 100.000 rupiah OVO cash buat 3 winners. Oke. Dan jangan lupa mungkin teman-teman bisa minta tolong buat scan barcode feedback form. Ya, teman-teman bisa minta tolong buat scan feedback form ini, so nanti kita juga bisa lihat kebutuhan teman-teman, dan mungkin we can help to grow your business as well. So thank you so much everyone who tuning in until the end. Once again, I would like to thank all of those who have helped this program to run, to our supporting partners, namely Australia Global Alumni and our partner program, Stellar Women. So, and don't forget to keep an eye on the WomenCreate Masterclass, the next WomenCreate Masterclass series on our Instagram at Kumpulko. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm Andre, and see you next time.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Yes, Nadine.
Thank you ya semuanya.
Thank you, Kak Nadine.
Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you.